everyone, and welcome to your NARSA weekly update for the week commencing Monday the 24th of June 2024. It's Gary here again, and firstly I'd just like to thank everyone who got in touch with me last week, very concerned for my well-being with regards to losing my remote control after I had completely forgotten about young Hudson's graduation just a few short days before that. Almost nobody got in touch, by the way, just to be super clear, but just thanks very much to James Armstrong, who did get in touch and said, check the fridge. I've lost many a remote control in the fridge. Thankfully, it was not in the fridge, and it showed up the very night of recording last week, where Erin came, sat down next to me, said, what's that down the couch? The side of the couch cushion, and picked out the remote, and it was right there, right. Honestly, I looked there. I promise I looked there about half a dozen times, and it's a dark brown couch, and it's a black remote, so I don't know. So the good news is I don't have any of these degenerative diseases that are plaguing people of maybe my age and older. So I'm back to full fighting fitness. All I did was forget a graduation, which I won't do again, and the remote control is safely in where it should be, I guess is probably the best way to say that, which is in plain sight downstairs. So, and it sounds like, of course, I've got way more luck in my remote finding than Rangers have in getting metal shipped over from Asia. Oh boy, what a mess, eh? There is some sort of world shortage on pretty much everything. It seems to be from a supply chain issue going on, and my understanding is that the club did build in some contingency in terms of any potential material delays, or materials delays, I guess is probably the best way to say it for this one. But obviously not enough, and now we're kind of in this little bit of limbo at the time of recording. I'm actually recording a little bit later today than I normally have been over the last wee while, just due to something I'll tell you about in a wee while, something good, of course. And at the time of recording, we don't really know what's happening, do we? We do know that the fixtures are coming out on Thursday morning. I think it's 9 a.m. UK time. So by the time I wake up on Thursday, the fixtures will already be out. So I guess we'll know then what the immediate impact is going to be in terms of looking at the fixtures for August, for the first month of the season. I don't know what it looks like in terms of the actual timeline for completion now, and when the materials are expected, and what that's going to look like in terms of the actual construction project that still has to get completed. And I don't know what state the stadium's in, if it's even feasible or possible to kind of have all the construction stuff made safe, out the way, have a game going on with 3 stands filled, notwithstanding the logistical challenges that would present, of course, in terms of the season ticket holders that are over there in the Copeland stand. So yeah, a little bit of a mess. I saw a little bit of negativity, actually quite a lot of negativity directed at Rangers as a result of this. It's just one of these things. I say that from absolute experience and being in project management for over 30 years. The best laid plans and all that, and things just don't go the way that you're hoping that they go. And as a project manager by trade, you're at the mercy of a third party almost 100% of your job, 95, 96, 97% of your job. You're at the mercy of someone else doing something to be able to get your project over the line and successfully complete. So I feel a wee bit for the club on this. It's obviously not what they wanted. It's certainly not good preparation for the new season in terms of actual literal preparation for what's going to happen on the pitch as well. So that's a wee bit of a concern, but hopefully we'll see what the fixtures say as they come out. It looks like the club are doing everything they can in terms of talking to the SPFL, the SFA and such to get the communication channels open and see what options are open to us. So yeah, maybe the catalyst will be the fixtures on Thursday morning. Anyway, on to more important things, which is of course Rangers Football Club, and the club, the men's first team did return to training today, and that's of course the 24th of June, and they also announced last week there's going to be another friendly that they've got organised when they're on their travels, when they're over in Holland. As you know, we're travelling over, I guess that's in a couple of weeks, to Holland on the 7th of July, and then they announced a friendly with Ajax on the 13th of July, and that's kind of basically in between, I guess, a week later is the Manchester United game in Edinburgh, and then the 24th is a Birmingham City game, and then the 27th is a Union Berlin game, and of course they're all away from home. We had a wee bit of a chuckle conversation about that on the WhatsApp group last week. And yeah, so we'll see. My understanding is it's not at the Amsterdam Arena or whatever Ajax's home ground is called now. It's somewhere else, but that'll be a good test for the team as well. So some good quality caliber opponents that we're playing, and just a wee bit of an, I don't know, tip of the hat, I guess you could say, to Scotland and what Scotland did. And what Scotland did was what Scotland kind of always do, isn't it? They went out in the first round of a major tournament again, having never qualified for knockout stages ever in our history. And I have to say, not an international fan at all, certainly not a fan of international breaks when they come and break up Rangers' momentum. But I did enjoy the camaraderie that went with this one. I went for all three games, went downtown to a pub called the Ship and Anchor on 17th Avenue, get a chance to meet up with some pals and colleagues and friends and such, and just and family, of course, to give ourselves a bit of a chance to just enjoy the occasion. And Leo joined me for the first couple of games, didn't come down yesterday. All the family were there yesterday. All the family that matter were there yesterday, and we had a fantastic day there as well. Stuck around for a wee bit after the game, and it just didn't go the way we wanted. But I have to say, folks, and I don't mean to be critical, I'm not a Steve Clarke fan, never really have been, but that's a tough watch. Watching Scotland is difficult. It's a difficult thing to do for me. And what was it, like 4 shots in 3 games? We got 2 goals, which were both basically OGs. The first one certainly was. The second one, I think they gave it to McTominay, but I don't know. And then we just wait. Yesterday was a wee bit baffling to me. We wait until it's so tentative and passive and kind of negative, I guess you could probably say, until about the last 5 or 10 minutes, and then we kind of really open up, have a go, and then you look what happens. It was a great game. It was end to end. Had a chance at the end, where the goalie had to make a reasonably decent routine save, but I don't think anybody would have complained if we had did that from the beginning, and then went out and said we gave it an absolute go. But Steve Clarke just doesn't really have that in him. It's just he's never really been an expansive, overly buoyant manager of teams. They do what they do and they try and not lose games, and that was our undoing basically at the end. So we head homewards to think again, I guess, is probably the best way to say that. And I know yesterday there was a lot of talk about the penalty claim. Steve Clarke saying it was 100% a penalty. The folks in the pub thought it was as well. Do you know what I do? Like, see, whenever I watch an international game or a game that basically involves another team other than Rangers, I then put my lens on of how would I feel if that was Rangers against that mob, or Rangers in a crunch European tie, or a cup final or whatnot. And I don't know. I don't know that it was. I'm not 100% sure if it was. So obviously it wasn't, because the guy never gave it. But in terms, I didn't. When I put my Rangers lens on, I didn't think it was. I was fairly okay with the referee's decision. So maybe I had a couple of wee tenants too many by that point. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, too bad that they're out again. So all we need to do is just shout for every single team that is playing against England now, between now and whenever England get put out, unless they take it all the way to the final, of course. But my 2 teams in the pool, Italy and Spain, are safely through, which is a good thing. On to the shout-outs for this week. Over the last couple of weeks, I have been promising you the Andy Gorham story that was given from Ian Wilkie when we were talking about the late Bobby Gilmour, and I'm going to read this out. There is a wee bit of language here, so if you're watching it with any kids around or anything like that, please close their ears. I'm just going to read it almost verbatim here. I'll try and ad-lib a wee bit on the odd bit that maybe the sentence wasn't finished properly or something like that. But Scotland were playing in Miami, and Ian thinks it was against Colombia, and the team had a curfew, but Bobby Gilmour drove down and got Ali McCoist and Andy Gorham, at least, can't remember whom else might have been there, sneaked them out through the kitchen and then up to the Tudor Inn, which was Bobby's bar, and then soon the whole world was in there. And at some point Gorham went for a pee, and he went to fart and sharted himself, basically. So then he looks out the door and saw Ali and called him over, told him to keep it quiet, told Ali McCoist to keep something quiet and go find him a spare pair of shorts. So Bobby commandeered the barman's shorts and handed them through the door, while Ali, of course, being Ali, got on a table and told the entire bar, the entire bar what had happened. So then when Gorham slinks out the toilet, there's an almighty roar that goes up, and Ian confesses that Bobby told it better, and he's sure that Ali would probably get a good half hour out of the story as well. So that is an absolute peach of a story. I mean, the worst person I think that could happen to, the worst person that you would have as your ally is Ali, to say, look man, keep it quiet, a wee bit embarrassing, do what you need to do. And then he's like, absolutely, you can rely on me. And the whole bar gets told. So there you go, you have the Andy Gorham jobby story, and I will keep it clean from this point forward. The second shout out I'd like to do is to welcome Conor McBarron. I don't typically do a lot of the players as they come in, just because you get to see it all on social media or wherever it is you consume your Rangers content. But this one I think is a good one. Obviously it's Scottish, coming from a team who's already played in the Premiership in Scotland, so that's good. I don't know anything about the guy until I seen his photographs on the various outlets that were communicating the fact that he had signed, and I recognise him. I'm like, all right, okay, that's fine. I don't pay much attention to any other teams. I really should maybe do a wee bit more of that, but good to see him there. He says all the right things, and it seems like Philippe Clement is very, very delighted to get him as well. So that's another one in the door. I was talking to a couple of guys down at the pub yesterday after the Scotland game, and we were just kind of discussing what's their thoughts on the transfer policy, and I said, I'd just like to know one or two of them. Now, I know now Conor McBarron recognised the kid, and hopefully he'll do a really good job for us. But, recognising the name straight away to say, oh, right, okay, good. Because we can't just sign all the people of the demographic we're signing right now, which are very young guys, and put them on longer term contracts. There has to be a wee bit of experience in there, especially if we're thinking about getting rid of some of the experience. And if it is experienced campaigners coming in, hopefully we know who they are, because that's what gets us excited, isn't it? It's not, with the greatest of respect, Conor McBarron or the young lad from AC Milan or such. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, welcome aboard, Conor, and I hope that your stay with us is going to be brilliant. I'd also like to wish a very happy junior high graduation to my beautiful baby boy Leo, who graduated just a wee bit earlier today, and that's why I'm recording. Right now it's 5:53 p.m. on Monday evening. Typically I would record this earlier in the day, but I had a busy morning, went to his graduation. I did some recording for some other things that I do on my business side, and then had to go straight to the graduation, and then we just basically got home and settled there. So the great thing about it, apart from the fact that he got to graduate and go across the stage and stuff, if you're connected with me on Facebook, you'll get to see that. I posted it a wee bit earlier, but it's to kick off the whole event, basically to say, right folks, settle down. I was going to say take your seats, but we were actually already seated at the time. But settle down, we're going to start. They cranked out Simply the Best. Absolutely, I mean, it was way too loud for that. I don't know if they had to adjust the volume or whatever, but there's nothing better than dong, 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 dong. So I got a wee video, sent it to a few of the boys, and had a bit of a laugh about that. That's how you start a graduation ceremony. So now he gets the summer kind of almost off. We're away for a week. He's away with his mum and family for a week as well. He's going to be working at Calgary Stampede this year as well, so it's going to be a wee bit of a stop start. I believe he's going to be doing some landscaping work as well, so he's going to be busy boy. Then he's going to have a bit of money in his pocket come the end of the summer, which is great. And then it's off to high school, folks. My baby boy is going to high school, and that's going to be a big adjustment for him for sure. So really looking forward to supporting him through that. Anyway, Leo, I don't even know why I give him the shout out here, because he never ever listens. He says he listens vicariously because he's downstairs while I'm upstairs recording. Maybe that's true. I'm not 100% sure. The last thing on the shout outs, the Toronto Midtown Rangers Supporters Club Cultural Night with the Pride of the Birches Accordion Band. That's of course from Portadown, Northern Ireland, and that's on the 19th of, so that must be like 3 weeks this week, 2 weeks this week, 3 weeks this week probably. I guess, oh man, that's quick coming in, and that's July the 19th, Friday, July the 19th, 7 p.m. No cover charge, but space is limited. Please email tmrsc1998 at outlook.com to reserve your spot, and that's of course going to be at Gatherings Resto Bar, which is the home of Toronto Midtown Rangers Supporters Club. On to the convention update. I can officially confirm it's 353 days and 50 weeks until we descend upon Kissimmee in Osceola County, Florida. That's of course June 12th to the 15th, 2025. Again, I know I've been starting with this one, but we are considering entertainment options for this coming convention, and we're not going to be progressing with a flute band as we would typically do for the Friday night Tam Plunkett Blue Night. We're going to be doing something else that's equally as no, but not equally as Rangers, I guess I should say, because the cultural stuff is not exactly connected with Rangers. I guess maybe Rangers might have a wee bit of a heart attack if I say that. Everyone, anyone, and all that. But it's going to be Rangers themed, is what I mean. And I think I did mention that last week as well. So we'll get moving on that. And when we have something to share, we'll let everyone know what that looks like. We're also going to be chatting with a couple of golf courses tomorrow. We're not chatting with a golf course. That would be kind of insane. We are going to be chatting with a person who is going to give us some information about golf course, and hopefully we can get some progress on that front at the same time. It'll be a wee bit slower over the summer, and then we'll hit a stride here coming into properly into the mid to latter stages of July and onwards. The hotel rooms, there was a wee bit of a hiccup in the hotel system last week, and got some information about that emailed over, so thank you for that. And we had a situation where I think the system wasn't kind of set up properly to either recognise NARSA or the Rangers Supporters Club, and we have it sorted out now. So if you experienced any challenges last week, you can go back in again, and everything has now been fixed. And I think it was Stuart over in Ottawa had told me about that, so thank you very much for sending that over. I forwarded it straight to the hotel. The hotel said yeah, we know that was yesterday, everything's okay now, so that's a good thing. But the hotel rooms are out for booking, of course. $199 per night plus 14.5% tax comes out to about 228-ish, maybe just there or thereabouts. And just a reminder, your first night deposit will be taken, and it's a proper deposit, meaning if you decide to cancel your room at some point down the line, you're going to lose that deposit. Some hotels do it, some don't, and the Omni has decided that that's their policy. So as always, I'll leave the link in the blurb for the pod tonight, and please go ahead and get your room booked so that you don't miss out. And we are going to be working on ticket pricing here over the next wee while. It's just been a wee bit busy over the last wee while, but that's one of the more higher things on the list of things to do, because we want to get those out there and try and coincide it with a strong start to the season if we possibly can. On the NARSA Convention Stories, we started off with a blaze of thunder with the beer can tower story from Victoria. I gave you a little bit of an overview of my near miss last week with Walter Smith back in 2011 down in Orlando, and I don't have any more. I implored the NARSA executive to give me a convention story or two, and I haven't got them yet, and admittedly I didn't chase them up too much with that, so I'll hopefully get something for next week. Please send me something, and even if you want to leave me like a voice note, and I'll just transcribe it and give an overview of the story. If you don't want to type it out, I'd love to hear. There has to be literally thousands and thousands of convention stories. It might not even be related to the event, like I know people that got married at the convention, maybe not so much at the convention directly, but as the convention was happening, they took advantage of the time to do that and get married in Calgary in 2008. Sorry, I was going to say 2018, but I meant 2008. So there's hundreds of brilliant stories out there. Just get them over to me, and we'll get a wee bit of promotion on that. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that as we go forward. Just one wee bit of other business, I think, is probably the best topic to call this, and on the ongoing supporter engagement strategy that Greg Marshall is heading up includes an international component, and we talked about it briefly when we were at the AGM a couple of weekends ago there, and now we're in a situation where NARSA has been formally invited to take part in it. I'm going to take part in it. Brian Campbell is also going to take part in it, and we're going to see how it goes. We're going to get together with other overseas fans and figure out the best way that the club can support us, we can support the club, and maybe that means further ongoing dialogue catalogue or different offerings or whatever that looks like. I really truly don't know just yet, but NARSA has formally been included as part of that, and we're just basically awaiting a wee bit of information from the club as to when something might materialise about that in terms of a meeting. I imagine it would be when the season starts back up again, but maybe it's before. Who knows? I'm not 100% sure. On the communication front, there really isn't a whole hell of a lot going on the communication front from this last week. I saw a rumour today that possibly we might be interested in the existing Hearts CEO as a replacement for James Bisgrove. Nothing concrete on that. We'll find out when we find out, I'm absolutely sure. But other than that, not a whole hell of a lot of stuff going on. So I would just like to take this opportunity to let you know that we are taking a wee bit of a breather on the NARSA newsletter. For the last couple of weeks, I'll chat to Lorraine and see when we're going to get that resurrected. Maybe we might do it this week, or just maybe wait till the season starts or not. Lorraine can get to decide on what that looks like, and we'll figure that out. Just a reminder, there is also, of course, the tickets on sale for the Jermaine Defoe and Chris Boyd night on the 30th of August, and the tickets are already now out for sale. I haven't heard if it's been sold out yet or not, so there's still a chance for you to get some tickets there. And also, if you can take a look at the NARSA website and you look at your club specifically, and if the club details are wrong, incorrect in any sort of way, please do let us know. We are getting a few trickling in, so thank you very much to everybody that has been doing that, and then we'll figure that out as we go forward. And also thank you to the folks that reached out about the One Voice interview with David Holmes. I know the sound was quite muffled in terms of just the way the technology worked for that one, but hopefully it was legible enough that you could hear what was going on and enjoyed the stories that David was telling as part of that. But I would implore you to go take a listen to that and let me know what you think about it overall, because we did commit to giving information back to Lynn, David's daughter, and David himself, just to let them know how things were received on that front. So other than that, my friends, that is going to do it for this week. This is a more palatable amount of time to be spending recording a podcast rather than 30 plus minutes when there's no Rangers games like I did over the last couple of weeks. But as always, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you very, very much for taking the time to listen, and please do share it with whomever you think might enjoy it. And over the next couple of weeks, here's to just getting re-used to Rangers content coming out actually about the team. We'll find out a little bit more, obviously, of the fixtures and what the impact of the stadium challenges are on the fixtures a little bit later, and then we'll see what things look like as things progress. But other than that, please do take care of yourself this week, all right? And I will chat to you next week. Cheerio now.